Hello, welcome to my first ever video here on YouTube, the Chronicles of a Country Crafter. I am a country girl at heart, grew up in the country, currently live in a city, but can't wait to get back to the country. I have been wanting to start something on YouTube involving my crafting, mostly crochet, for a long time, but I have never done anything. But I have been recently inspired by a very good friend of mine and coworker who also has been doing a bunch of YouTube stuff where she's just chronicling her experiences through different crafts. So I decided, why not? Just bite the bullet and do it. If you want to check out her channel, I'm going to put it in the description down below. You can check out what projects she's working on. So one of the first things I decided I should probably do before I start anything is actually tidy up my craft space. And the other day, over the weekend, I was doing some tidying up and I decided, you know what? I need to go through my WIPs. For anybody who doesn't know, a WIP is a work in progress. And I have several of them. So today, I'm going to go through all of the WIPs I have currently in this house that I can find and figure out what needs to be finished, how close things are to be finished, and try and finish a bunch of them up. All right, so I think I have all of my WIPs gathered up here. As far as I know, I do. I have no idea what I actually have at my parents' house, where I still have quite a bit of stuff stored because there's not enough room here. Someday maybe I'll have an actual honest to God craft room that I can store all my stuff in. Okay. So I'm just going to start working through the different piles. And quite a few years ago, I got this craft journal book. I do not remember where I got it. And I'm going to kind of write things down to try and keep track of things. All right. Okay, so the first WIP I have here is this travel blanket. I started this probably almost a year ago now. I got this as a kit from Hirschner's. It's supposed to be a full blanket and then eventually have a pocket where it can be folded up into a pillow. My plan when I started this was to have this done before I went on my honeymoon so I could take it along on the honeymoon when we took our train trip. That was last summer. It is currently November. Yeah, I'm going to try and get this done before I do my next trip, which is a planned trip / race to Yellowstone with my husband and my brothers. So this is actually already in the project book. So this is definitely a finish. Let's see. All right, this is something that is basically done. I need to get all of the ends put in. My husband has graciously volunteered to do a lot of my tails for me, so I'm going to make him do all of those tails, and then it needs to be blocked, and then it is done. So this is just a simple little hexagon baby cardigan. So it also needs the buttons on it. Since this is basically done, I'm not going to put it in the project book, but that is definitely a finish. And then this might go with it. I was trying to see if I had enough yarn left over to do like a little orange hat with like a little green top, kind of since it's kind of pumpkin colored. We'll see if I end up having enough. Another baby sweater that needs the tails put in and the buttons and blocking. So this is also basically done. Finish. Project number 3. All right, some random stuff that should not be in here. Okay. I crochet, but I've been trying to learn how to knit. I have not touched this, I think, since last spring. I think I should probably just start over with learning how to knit and frog this and do a take 2 on learning to knit. So this is going to be a frog. For those of you who don't know, frogging it is ripping it out. So that is a frog. Random yarn that needs to be put away. More yarn that needs to be put away. Okay, this. Okay, this one. This is a cardigan I have restarted like twice because the pattern just was not working out. I'll have to find the pattern. Let's see. Well, okay, so it looks like I need to keep working on the border part of this. I need to find the pattern back to figure out what needs to be done with this yet. I think it might actually fit. Hopefully it does when I actually get it done, because I had a lot of problems getting this to fit right. Started it years ago. Does need to be finished whether or not I end up actually wearing it, but this is, because it's so close to being done, should be a finish. I think most of these are probably going to be finishes because I sometimes have a tendency of getting close to finishing the stuff and then not finishing it. Okay, pot holder. And yes, this is basically finished. I just have to sew the edges together. So, and then that can go into my finished box. All right, another pot holder that needs to be finished. I believe this is I used a 4-hook. It's just a single crochet in the round until it meets in the middle. Finish. Another basically done project, just needs the tail weaved in. Finish. Dishcloth number 2 that just needs tails weaved in. Finish. And I have already lost track. I will try and pop up a number on the screen at some point. Okay, this was a kit. Another kit with baby car seat blankets. I've done most of them. I think it's just this one and this one that I have left to actually finish out of the kit. So basically these are little blankets that'll tuck right out on a car seat. So this is another finish slash find the pattern. Got to find the pattern on this. So this is kind of 2, kind of 1, because it was technically all a kit. But I could always finish this at another time, but it'd be good to finish the whole kit and just tuck it away in my cedar chest for potential gifts later. I like making baby things not because I have kids, but because they're so cute. So these are finish. All right. Matching dishcloth to go with the pot holder, except I ran out of yarn on the border part. So I'll have to look through my stash to see if I have any more of this. If I don't, I'm going to take the border part out and just leave the edges raw. And then weave in the ends. Finish. All right. Okay. Another blanket I'd started. I found a Tunisian crochet, like blocky blanket pattern online with all different sorts of stitches. This is just a simple stitch. And I had yarn left over from other blanket kits that I've made. So this is definitely something I do want to finish. So this is just block 1. And then somewhere around here should be the start of another block. So this should go in a specific spot. Maybe I can find like a little plastic bag like this where I can put all of this stuff, because I have a bunch of yarn in here that goes with that project. Not that. All of this goes with that blanket. Oh. And here is the hook I was using. I'm pretty sure this is the hook I was using since it was in there. I'm going to put all of this back in this basket so that way it stays together. Another project to finish. All right, and the last thing in this bin, I have had this again for years. This is to go with this piece of fleece. The plan was to cut around some edges and then use a rotary cutter to put holes along the side and then crochet around the border for a simple music blanket. So this would actually be a fairly quick project to actually finish once I actually sort of start it. So this is kind of a WIP, but kind of not a WIP. It has been in the works and in the plans, I should say, for quite a while. So this, I'm going to stick back in the bottom and put this at the end of my list for projects to finish because I want to start with projects that are actually officially started. This would also be a good one for I need something a little bit quicker to work up project. All right, next basket. I think, yeah, these two are just completed projects that just need to be blocked. Corner to corner baby blanket, and I have really been into making these baby hexagon cardigans. I need to stop because my chest is going to be so full. So these just need to be blocked. That'll be quick to finish. I was into exploring Tunisian crochet and I was doing like a bunch of headbands, like including this one, just trying out stitches. I was going to try a triangle one with this yarn. I have no idea what hook I was using for this. So I think this is going to have to be a frog and start over. Frog. Kit I got balled up that needs to be finished at some point. So that is, along with the music fleece blanket, a project that should be started in the near future. So I'll tuck that back in there. Another little project thing that I was making as prizes for the students is found a pattern on Ravelry. This should be another finish since I've already gotten through the really tough part. So that is a finish, and then put the yarn away. Okay, yeah, this, I'm always trying to find new ways to organize all my stuff for work. How to carry it around and keep it organized. I have kind of a rolling briefcase that just has a bunch of pockets, big empty pockets that I'm always losing stuff in, so I don't use it, but I'd like to use it instead of a heavy backpack that I'm carrying. So this was something that I was just making as an insert to create different pocket areas in there. I do want to finish this to try and figure out if this will actually be usable. So this is an experimental project, which I will finish. All right. Another project that I have started and have not gotten very far on. This is supposed to be basically sleeves, and I have not gotten very far on it. So eventually it's supposed to go all the way around, but another one I do want to try and finish. The cape. This is going to be a cape. Another online pattern I found. I will try and link as many of these online patterns as I can in case anybody is interested in doing them themselves. Another one, I started this as what I like to call a backpack project. I like to carry a project with me for my lunch breaks. This has gotten too big to carry around in my backpack, so it now needs to be a home project. I've got more yarn for it back up here. So this is another finish because I do like the idea of a cape. So another finish. All right, this yarn goes with, did I say I'm into making these baby cardigan things? So another hexagon baby cardigan. This one is going quite quickly because it is a 4-weight yarn, and I do also want to make a matching blanket with it. So finish. All right, also out of this, I decided I was going to do a hexagon cardigan for myself. Why I am so into hexagon cardigans all of a sudden, my mind's a weird place. So finish cardigan for myself. All right, this one. This I started after making a kind of house roby kind of thing for myself. This was going to be a kind of a duster kind of garment. I'm still working on getting the whole bottom row. I stopped working on this because I decided, you know what? I want to catalog my progress because this is something I am semi-designing myself. I'm using the basics of a different pattern, but I want to create like a rose motif along the panel as it comes up. Still trying to figure out how to do that, so I stopped. I might pull this all out and then completely start fresh. I think that's what I'm going to do because I do not remember what size hook I was using. So this is a frog and restart. Mostly finished scrubby. Looks like I ran out of yarn. When I was doing my cleaning, I left out yarn because I knew as I was tidying up, I had like some scrubbies and some dishcloths and type stuff that were not completely finished that I'd run out of yarn for. So this is a finish. I will pull out my scrubby yarn to finish this. I literally have no clue what this was supposed to be, especially since this is literally all of the yarn. Frog! From my lace bookmark crocheting phase. This looks like it is done. It just needs tail sewn in and probably blocked. Finish. This was a little keychain thing that I was trying out as potential prizes for students in my job. I decided this was a no for making for them, but I think I'm going to go ahead and finish this up just for myself because it's just the tails that need to be done. This was a dishcloth that I started. This might have been what I was using to teach a friend to crochet. I'm going to frog this and start over with a cooler pattern. Okay, this is just a finished project. This needs to go in my finished projects box. Mostly finished scrubby. Looks like I fastened off. So this must be done except for the tails. I don't like tails. Oh my gosh. This is an amigurumi horse that I started when I was in college. And I graduated in 2018, so it's currently 2025. I know I still have the pattern in somewhere around here. I know I have the book this pattern came out of. I do want to finish this because the head's already done. I am not frogging that. So this will be a finish. Another little prize animal kind of a thing. Keychain, this is supposed to be a mouse. This is also a finish because I've already gotten to where I have the additional color and I don't want to frog that. Finish. Okay, this is barely started. I'm going to frog this and just restart it at some point. Wait, is this? This is a finished scrubby. Finished pile. Finished pile. Okay, this was a random ball of yarn that I used to try and figure out how to make a granny stitch sawn tag and increasing it out. So this is definitely a frog since there was literally not enough yarn to actually finish it. I was just using this to experiment so I did not waste the yarn I wanted. I totally want to make this again and make a tutorial so I actually remember how to do it. All right, this was supposed to be a chapstick holder keychain. This is another one I think because they're so easy to make and start, I think I'm going to frog this and I am going to ball this up so it's neater. Okay, this was a headband I made. It just needs a button to be finished. So, just needs a button, which means I need to find a button. V-stitch dishcloth. I'm going to pull that out and start over because I also don't have a lot of this. I have no idea what this was. Frog. Another partially finished scrubby. I will need to try and find some yarn to finish this out with. Okay. This was supposed to be like a little blanket animal. I do not remember what I was making, but I have enough yarn to finish it. I've got a book with patterns in it somewhere. Since I've already got the little blanket thing done, I'm definitely going to finish this. I just need to find the pattern I wanted to use. and hope I actually use the recommended hook size. Finish. A mostly finished bookworm bookmark. It just needs the little antenna and eye on the top. I believe I've got yarn. Yep. I'll get a little strip of yarn to finish that out, and then I can put some ice on it, and that'll be done. Another mostly finished scrubby. Just needs the tails weaved in. More. Another headband. Just needs a button and tails weaved in. What is this? Headband number 3. That needs tails weaved in and a button. 4. 5. This was the start of a little bobble stitch bracelet. Both of these are bobble stitch bracelets. For like a little fidget type bracelet. Neither of these I have enough yarn to finish. I think I'm just going to frog these and throw these in my scrap yarn pile. Another pot holder. These are so easy to make. I've got so many projects that need to be finished. I think I'm just going to frog this and start it over sometime. Frog. Okay, I started this bookworm so many years ago. The fact that I never finished it is ridiculous. Honestly, for old time's sake, I just want to finish it and keep it. Just like, hey, I finally actually finished it. This probably should be a frog, but I'm going to finish it. Okay, more experimenting. Little cat. There's supposed to be like a little keychain on there. I should finish that just to finish it because it's so close. And I've already got eyes glued on. Another little project experiment. I have done this pattern since I did this just with smaller yarn and better nose. Just sew a keychain on it and it'll be done. Oh boy. This was my first experiment crocheting around a like little clip. Hopefully that focuses. It is kind of cute. I'm not sure. I do not remember the pattern I was using. I think I'll finish it, and another scrubby ran out of yarn to be finished. Yarn in a different way. Another pot holder. I did so many of these. I have done so many of these, but they are really easy to work up. This is going to be a frog to do at another time. All right, more little keychain animal kind of a things. This is supposed to be a stingray. The eyes are not on it. Cute little elephant. Again, no eyes on it right now. Needs a keychain. I'm just going to finish those. Another chapstick holder that I had a teeny tiny amount of yarn. Don't have any more of this to finish. Scrap yarn pile. And I think that's it. I think that's all of the WIPs I have. Everything else in this basket is just stuff that needs to be put away. My next step is going to be frogging and putting away all of the things that need to be frogged and put away. And then I'm going to go through the WIP pile and figure out a plan for that. Okay? Plan made. Let's do some cleaning. I realized this is not all my whips. I've got a couple more. This is my current bring along with me wherever I go bunch of projects. I have a baby blanket very similar to that purple one that needs to be blocked yet of this. So this is also a current whip, definitely not a frog. More yarn for it. And then I have a mostly finished hat to go with one of the baby cardigans that is done except for blocking. And I'm attempting to see if I have enough yarn to make some matching mittens. So those are also projects. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. I did not realize I had that many whips. Although I will say some of them are basically done, so they kind of only partially count, but they still count in my grand scheme. So next video, I'm going to be going through the pile of whips to determine which ones I'm going to work on right away and which ones are going to be later down the line of finishing. My goal is to hopefully get them done, or I should say mostly done, by the end of this calendar year 2025. I don't know if that will actually be feasible, but I'm hoping to get a good chunk of them done or mostly done by then. If you like this video, please stay tuned. I will continue to post on videos on my journey of going through my whips and catching up with all of the projects that I have started and not finished. Until next time, Deus benedicat.